Hi, this is Alan with AlansFirearms and Guns Plus More. And today we have the Walther PPS. Very nice, compact 9mm, comes in 9 and 40. If you know me, you know I prefer 9 between the two rounds. But this is very nice. It's very slim. Basically compact. I can almost cover it with my hand. So I like that. It's got nice big white sights, which 3-dot, which we'll go over at the workbench. It's got a loaded chamber indicator by visual, and it's got a red dot on the back to show that it's cocked and ready for fire. It's got a passive safety on the trigger. It does not have a thumb safety, manual safety. It has an ambidextrous magazine release, which is the whole bottom back portion of the trigger guard, which is pretty cool. I sort of like that. You just press down from your hand on the trigger and it goes away. And it's not hard. It will get a little getting used to, but once you get the operations down and practice a little bit, you will find that you probably really like this magazine release. Just doing it a couple of times just now, I'm sort of liking it, you know. And you know, you know me, I'm a traditionalist, but this is pretty nice. I don't mind changes when changes bring good things about. Now, it's got an interchangeable back strap. I'll show you that also at the workbench. And it has a mag with a little bit of an extension on it. So you can see that. There's the extension. It's pinky extension. It holds 6 rounds, so it's a 6+1. It's got Glock type takedown buttons on it and a slide release right here. It's kind of small. Let's see if it's hard to use. Well, it's hard to use with an empty mag. Let's check it with a no mag. It's okay. But this gun this small, it's for self-defense. Okay, with an empty mag in it, I can do it. It takes some pressure. Let's try it with no mag. It's almost the same. It's kind of hard. Now, this is what's weird. Very difficult to use this slide lock manually. Because what they did, and I'll try to get a close look at it at the workbench, they have it's cupped. There's like a rim underneath it. I don't know why they did that, but it makes it almost impossible to push it up to lock the slide back manually. And it may have been done purposefully for a reason. I don't know what that reason is. I can't imagine what it would be. I don't like it. I like to be able to use the manual slide release to put it in. Now you can do it. It's just a little more difficult. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get to the workbench. Let's take this puppy apart, clean it, lube it, and reassemble it. Here we are at the workbench with the Walther PPS. Okay, so let's take a closer look at this. You got to push in the centers of this and then pull these tabs. Not a lover of these kind of boxes, but hey, that's the way it comes. And there we go. This is the way it comes packaged. Here's the extra back strap, which I told you about. So you have an extra back strap. This one makes it a little wider, gives you a little more of a grip for those with longer fingers, bigger hands. Here's your second magazine. And I believe this one has a longer extension on it. So this gives you a full-size grip with an extra round in there. So I believe one's 6 and 7, and okay, so there we go on that. Let's get this aside. Oh, okay. So the first thing, let's of course take a look at the sights. 3-dot white. So there we have the sight picture. It's 3-dot white. 2 big dots in the rear, 1 in the front. They're all the same size dots, but of course, looking down it, the front one looks smaller, and it just makes it easier to center it between the two. These are, you can swag this a little bit left or right for windage, but I would tell you I would not attempt to do that. I'd leave it alone. Here is a closer look at that magazine release that I told you about. See how the whole front of it comes up and down? There we go. Here's the magazine. Okay, so there is the red dot in the back. Okay, you can see now the red dot is the red dot in the back. That shows you that this gun is cocked. There is a hole in the top of the chamber. That lets you see a visual verification that there's a round in the chamber. Serial number is on the side, has a small Picatinny rail with one slot in the front. It happens to have, of course, like all Walthers, it feels really nice in your hand. It has a great ergonomic feel to it. It has a very interesting way that the ejection port is cut. I think that looks pretty good. Here is, like I told you, it has it's like a lip here that stops you from getting to your slide release. So it's not really very easily, you have to put your finger over it and on the slide to lock it manually. Okay. As far as let's make sure, of course, that it's empty. We look down the well and into the chamber. Make sure there is not a live round laying in there. They say it's a smooth trigger pull. I find it a bit creepy. Okay, interesting as you can watch. If you watch the back of it, okay, see the back? You can see the pin coming out. Let me see from this angle. And then we have, of course, that's really easy to get off. That's pretty cool. There's a little button right here. You just push that and the whole rear comes right off. There you go. Look at that. Very easy to change out your rear. Comes out easy enough. Doesn't go together very easily. Okay, so there's a little witness mark that you line up, which I couldn't show you on here, but you put that in and push it forward and it goes together again. Let's move on and let's do the field strip. Like a Glock, you just pull this back, you pull down those two front pins, and it slides off. No, you do not have to pull the trigger. This comes apart. Move this up and out, and there we go. Completely disassembled in about 30 seconds. To clean it, I use Strike Hold. If you want to know about this product, I have 2 videos on my channel. Please refer to them. This is a CLP. CLP means cleaner, lubricant, and protectant. You clean your gun with this thoroughly, and then that's it. It's lubricated and protected. Now, this is a brand new gun, so it really doesn't need to be cleaned. I like to use these sticks, get them into Hobby Shop. Go right down the slots on the slide on each side. Make sure they're clean. And you go back and forth 3 or 4 times. And when I say back and forth, so that's back and forth, that's 1 time. So each back and forth is 1 time. So you do that and you get that clean. I'm going to wipe down the inside of the gun with my finger wherever I need to reach it. Now, there's areas that you're not going to be able to get with your finger. That's why you use the stick. And you get in there. Now, I say this on every one of these, my shows. You got to make sure you get your battery clean. Now, of course, this is a new gun, so there's not going to be any foreign matter in there. But anyway, you still do it. And you want to make sure you get underneath the extractor. Extractor is the little hook. Looks like that, like a little hook. And it grabs the back of the round to pull it out of the chamber. And if dirt builds up, if enough dirt builds up underneath that extractor, you're going to get a failure to extract, which will, in one case, will cause a jam. And in worst case, you'll think you pulled the slide back and you have an empty gun and there's a live round in the chamber, and then you pull the trigger and it goes bang, and you destroy something you didn't want to destroy, or hurt someone who you didn't want to hurt. Okay, so since this is Strike Hold, I can use this to clean off the whole outside of the gun, and it will protect it. Now, I wouldn't use regular gun cleaner on the outside of guns if possible. I'd use something else. What is something else? Well, something that's just not as hard on your finish. And that way, your finish stays intact. But if you do use gun cleaner on the outside of your gun, then you have to wipe it down with oil. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to get into the holes. Okay, every place that you touch with regular traditional gun cleaner, and I will show you how to lube this gun when I'm done, but any place that you're going to use traditional gun cleaner on, you must hit it with oil to deactivate it. Wiping it off isn't good enough. Okay, pay particular attention to your ramp. Make sure that's nice and clean. Make sure your little slot on the top is clean. That's where you look through into the chamber to see that you have a live round in there. Underneath the cam locks. And then, of course, clean out the inside of the barrel. Okay, so that's the barrel and the slide. Let's wipe down every place that my fingers can touch without the stick first. I'm going to take this time to look at the ejector, which is right here. The extractor is in the slide, the ejector is in the frame, and you just look at it. First time you get a gun, you should always look at all the parts and see what they look like. This way, if something, when you clean it, if there's something that doesn't look right, bring it to your gunsmith and let him check it. The inner ramp, make sure that's good and clean. Now, very important, again, we want to get all the metal-to-metal surfaces. When I say metal-to-metal, the metal on here that touches the metal on here. So we have this long slide rail. That's nice. This is almost a full-length slide rail, well, at least on one side. So we're going to do that with the oily rag, or in this case, this strike hold cleaning agent. I'm going to get the top. Make sure I get inside. Okay, now I got that, I'm going to do what I call my little mopping routine. So I take my barrel stick, my barrel cleaner, I put cleaner on here, and I go up and down inside the magazine well, both top and through the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to get the magazine. Now this is something I tell everybody on all my videos to do, and I don't understand why I never see it anywhere else. You take a stick, go push down the follower and clean, go up the side inside the magazine and get the magazine feeder fingers. These fingers are integral in feeding the round properly into your chamber. You want to make sure they're clean. Another thing is, you never want to slam your magazine into your gun. That's for TV and movies, create drama. You just want to put this in nice and easily, because those fingers, if they hit the top of your slide hard enough, you will cause them to bend or to deform, and that may cause the gun to jam. And now the last part, of course, is our spring. We want to make sure that's nice and clean, front and the back. Okay. So, now that we got this all clean, we have to oil it. For those of you who use traditional cleaner, you need to oil it. Now, these guns, a lot of these guns now are plastic and polymer. If you get gun cleaner on polymer and you wipe it off, that's not enough. If you don't deactivate it, you hit this with oil. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is in a few weeks, even though you wiped it off dry, it keeps eating away. It's a detergent for lead and brass and copper. So eventually you're going to get white spots. You ever see an old Glock or an old polymer gun with white marks on it, like white stains, like it's missing color? That's why someone left gun cleaner on it. I don't put oil directly in guns unless it calls for it. In this case, I'm going to put 1 drop of oil back down into the sear area and let that just soak in there a little bit. I'm going to put 3 drops of oil on my cloth. I'm going to hit it with a 4th. That's okay. But first, I want to make sure I get the areas that need lubrication done. What actually needs lubrication is the rail on the frame. Okay, so those are the parts that actually need lubrication. Now, I'm just going to hit everything that I touched with cleaner. I'm going to hit it with oil. So I wiped oil in here, and I may have gotten some overlay, so I'm going to get down each side and back here. So that way I know. Now I know I didn't get any on the main part. So there we go. But what I did do is I mopped the inside of here. So I'm going to do that with oil. Make sure I get all that turned off. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little more oil because I'm going to go to the slide now. And there's an area there that actually needs lubrication. What area is that? I'm sure you already guessed. It's the slide slots. So we're going to go up and down those slide slots, back and forth at least 3 times. Okay. And now I can just wipe down the rest of the inside of this slide with oil. Wherever I touched it with cleaner, I want to hit it with oil. Now do not put oil down in here. This is your firing pin block. Do not put oil down there. Do not put cleaner in there. You put cleaner in there, there are plastic parts in there that it'll eat that stuff away. If you put oil in there, it'll goop up the workings, and you'll have to take this whole thing apart to clean it out. Okay? That's why I only put enough oil on a rag to wipe down the gun. You don't want excessive oil. Too much oil doesn't make it run smoother. What it does is it gives dirt a place to be attracted to, and that's what all it does. Okay, so I'm going to wipe down the barrel, every place that I touched it with cleaner. And yes, I'm going to push this through, this rag through, to make sure I deactivate the cleaner inside the barrel so I don't mess up my lands and grooves or my polygon. This is lands and grooves. Okay, clean off my ramp, make sure that's good and done. Get back in here. Okay, so we're going to take oil and we're going to do the spring and the magazine. Make sure we get the follower good and put some oil in the follower. Make sure we get the follower, because remember, we went like this and we cleaned out underneath those feeder fingers. So make sure you get them done. Okay, put this puppy back together again, because it's all cleaned and oiled. We're going to drop this in, push it forward. If you got oil on the outside, a cleaner on the outside of your gun, you're going to hit it with oil. Then you're going to wipe off the oil as best as you can. And the best thing to hit it with afterwards is something like this. This is Flitz rifle, gun, and knife wax. You can get this at your local place. You can get it online. If you can't, just go into the automotive store and you can buy the soft turtle wax in the squeeze bottle. That works just as well. And you wipe down just the outside of your gun. Let it sit for a couple of seconds like you do with your car, and then buff it off. It'll give it a nice luster, and it'll protect it better than oil ever will. We're going to take the big part of the spring, put it forward, and we're going to push this forward a little bit. It only has to move a fraction, and it'll go right in there like that. Just get that, make sure it's centered, put that in there. We're going to slide, match up the slide slots, push it forward, let it go. Okay, let's do a function check. First, let's see if it has a magazine safety. And while we're doing that, we're going to first pull this without touching the safety. Nothing happens. Pull the safety. No magazine safety on this. So you can fire this loaded without a magazine in it. It will fire. Let's check the slide lock. Slide lock works. Slide release works. Everything works on it. We have a totally functioning, cleaned gun. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe. And until next time. Thanks for joining me for the Walther PPS. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe and come back for more. Until next time. Thanks for joining me thank you for joining me for the Walther PPS Clean, Lube, and Reassemble. Please like and subscribe, and until next time.